We're a bit rusty. It's been a good 2.5 years since COVID. We haven't done it in 2.5 years, so it's been interesting. There's been a couple of glitches, but I think overall it's gone quite smoothly. We've had probably about half the field come through and collect goodie bags so far. Tomorrow is looking great for weather. Saturday, it's looking absolutely perler. Swell's a little bit up, but I think the guys are going to be able to get out there and launch safely and get out and fish. There's some good colour water, probably about 600 meters offshore. A really nice colour line. We've had obviously quite heavy rains over the last 2-3 weeks, but that's formed a nice colour line of that brown water against the deep blue as you get deeper out. So I think the guys are going to get into a couple of fish tomorrow. On Sunday, we've got a little bit of a west that's coming up, but it's still fishable. But tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow we've got crayfish at the crayfish comp. We've got big screen rugby. We've got live music. We've got a whole lot of festivities happening down here, all under the tent here at Formula Beach Hotel. Super exciting. Cannot wait. Like we said, it's been 2.5 years, so we can't wait to kick this thing off.
Yes, chaps, it's great to be back, Jeepers, and we've missed you guys, we've missed the faces. It's amazing to see you guys, and thank you so much for showing up.
Just try to get out. That's the plan.
Yeah, the plan is to try to get out.
But, one piece.
One piece. Yeah. Nervous, shit? Nervous.
How's it? Sorry, I think the connection was dropping a bit there. How's it, guys? Welcome to the Go Fish Weekly Wrap. We call it the yearly wrap because it hasn't been for a while now. Welcome, Jamie Waddell, Justin Painter,
guys.
Ryan Dalton. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Good.
I know I interrupted one of your suppers, but the rest of you guys are all right.
All good.
Great to have you on board. Guys, it's been a bit quiet on the fishing front, it seems, and we are busy going right into a busy, what should be a busy time of year. And so, yeah, we're just going to chat a little bit about what's been happening and what guys can do to maybe get the bite when things are a little bit slow. And then we're going to just chat a little bit about the upcoming festivals, such as the UKFC Festival, the Durban Ski Boat Festival, and then we've also got our own comp, the King of the Sea. I'm just getting instructions in the background here. Ryan, we were just chatting a little bit off camera earlier, and you were talking about the Interclub that you'd had last week, and that it was quite quiet by this time of year standards, eh?
Yeah, Brandon, it wasn't. We had a great turnout of the teams involved, but the fishing itself wasn't that good. You know, Saturday we had only 4 fish weighed out of 36 anglers. So the top anglers taking part in the comp. Sunday we had one fish weighed, 2 fish brought to the scale. And I think a lot can be contributed to the ground swell and the water quality we had, as well as the pressure from the southeasterly that came through. Couple of boats got a few pulls on the Sunday as the wind started turning, but the fishing itself wasn't the best. And like I say, you know, the ground swell had a huge impact on the bite, especially the guys targeting coots. I think we had 1 cooter weighed through the whole weekend, 2 yellowfin were weighed, and a couple of bonnies. So out of 36 anglers, it's not the greatest result. So yeah, it's been some tough fishing.
And where were the boundaries?
Say again?
Were the guys allowed to fish pretty much? Were the guys allowed to fish south, or was it very much sort of in the?
Yeah, well, the boundaries were windy. The boundaries were Windy Corner and Tonga River mouth. So they had their fair range of water to fish. A lot of the boats fished local. You know, they've been getting some nice fish lately from Schlotti, so they kept local. But unfortunately, like I say, the showings were there. But they just weren't. The guys weren't getting the bite, and if they did get the bite, it was to get the fish through the sharks as well at some point. So, you know, like I was saying earlier, you work so hard to get a bite, and then once you've got the fish, then you've got to work through the sharks. So it's a bit of a catch-22 there.
I mean, the sharks have been wild lately, and it's been quite a consistent problem. Often you have. You'll have a shark problem in an area, and then they move off, and then you have it in another area. But for the last probably 2 months, they've just been the taxman's been thick in most of the good cooter spots, such as Schlotti, Westbrook, Zinkwazi, and there's not much to be done about that except just to try and beat them.
Yeah, you've got to box smart with those creatures at the moment, especially with the northeasterly as well blowing quite a bit. You know, they've brought those bigger sharks into the shallows, and it's tough. You know, I firmly believe we target the bigger fish in the shallower water, and that's what happens. You know, you play against those big guns out there. So and when you fish the interclubs, you know, because it's IGFA rules, we're only allowed to fish up to 10 kilo, 20 pound nylon. So you haven't got a lot of pulling power at your disposal, which makes it even harder.
Yeah, exactly. So just in terms of looking at the comps coming up, I mean, in our in particular comp, the King of the Sea, we don't have a line class restriction. Amy, the UKFC comp, you don't have line class restriction?
No, nothing. Nothing's not good.
And at the Durban Ski Boat Festival, what's the ruling on that, guys?
Open line.
Okay, so I guess in those sort of in that scenario, the guys are going to have to just sort of try go as heavy as possible and and just gonna have to try and beat the taxman by putting on big pressure. Yeah,
But the Sharks have
pretty much
been
so.
so bad, even down here off Virginia and Eastmore, where they've been getting the snook, those small snook coming, which is snook flying out the water. As it lands in the water, it gets eaten. So it's not only those big kuta that are doing the bigger runs; it's even those small 3-4 kilo snook that they're hunting.
It seems to. I mean, we chatted about this a couple of years back with some of the guys from. I think we chatted to Bruce Mann or one of those guys, and they explained a bit of how the pressure out in the deep on species such as some of the bigger shark species who are at the top of the sort of the food chain, and they're getting hammered out there by the trawlers for shark fins and whatever, and it sort of impacts further down the scale, and then that impacts us in short, whether it's the case to this year or not, I'm not sure, but maybe it's to do with weather patterns.
We have a member on the club, Ryan Daly, who works for Ori, and he does the shark tagging. So Marcus will go and you'll get text flat out, and you'll say, "Come, let's go on the boat." And when Ryan's on the boat trying to obtain that information, that data for Ori, they will not get one shark. The next day the text is flat out, but then Ryan comes on the boat, not one shark. Like that's
taking fish that you can never hear it.
They take fish that have been taxed and they drop a head or whatever overboard. Nothing.
I also think just to add in there, I think
frustrating.
Sorry, just one of the most frustrating things is, as well, is that obviously bait's been scarce. So, decent bait, you're fishing an hour or two to try and get a couple of decent baits, and then your baits are being charred by sharks at 18, let alone your fish being charred by sharks. So,
yeah.
Are you guys finding with the bait being scarce, you're obviously reverting to dead bait quite a bit, which is sort of par for the course at this time of year. But have you been pulling plastics much while you've been out there, or are you just going either live bait or dead bait? So obviously, if you can't find live bait, like you say, then just going straight on to dead bait. Are you trying plastics, etc.?
I think, well, from our side anyway, I think there's been a very the guys that have got out really early. We haven't really worried about live bait, especially if you're pushing in at floaty. Notice that the bite's been over by about 7, so you can literally put your ski or your rubber duck or whatever back on the. In the Interclub, we literally fish for bait for about 3 hours. Managed about 10 bait. 8 of them got charred. We then found the fish, and then we ran out of bait. We literally had to pull plastics. We had no other option.
Well,
interesting. What if that bait is coming in with a better quality water that we're getting? Because last week, I think it was here, launched at Virginia, and I think in about 10 minutes, I caught more bait than I've caught the entire year trying for baits. I think I got to the point where the live well on my ski would have started killing them, that I had too many, which was weird.
Well, hopefully it's a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
We've also found that off the bait mark. So if you sound around like 300-400 meters off the mark and just do a bit, they're actually sitting off the bait marks at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so not on the normal bait spots. Okay. But I was actually reading something interesting, but I'm not gonna sort of dig into it too much because I'm not an expert, and it'll be good to get some of those the guys we've chatted to like last year in terms of weather. But we've got an El Nino pattern forming now, and according to what I've read, El Nino can have a bit of an adverse effect on the fishing in terms of diminishing the bait resources. From what I was finding online, it was very much based on sort of South American fisheries, etc. But I can imagine it could possibly could start affecting us because obviously it pushes a lot of the warmer water up comes around from the Pacific, pushes the warmer water up, and the bait fish. Okay, obviously sardines are one of them, but all the bait fish tend to thrive better in when the colder water's been pushed up, because obviously there's more nutrients in colder water. So with more warm water over the next 3 months, if El Nino is a factor, it could affect things. But it'll be interesting chat if we can get one of the guys on board to chat a bit more about that. So that could shed a bit of light on that. So
I definitely think the water temperature has a massive effect on the bait itself. You know, the sooner we get that warmer current coming in and that warmer water pushing closer and shallower, you often find the bait diminishes completely, especially on our Durban wreck marks and our bait marks. You'll go fish a week before and the bait will be wild and you'll be sitting on a lot cooler water. But the minute that warmer water pushes in, the guys are puzzling for bait. You know, all of a sudden your baits have moved off. Some of the ski boats will actually move out deeper to try and find cooler water to the other bait spots, rock hard reef in those areas to see if they can get some bait. So I think the temperature has a massive effect on the bait itself.
And now with these with the comps coming up, we got the Durban Ski Boat Festival next weekend. What are the boundaries, first of all, in terms of the comp? Where can you fish to in the north, and where can you fish to in the south?
So obviously it's Tonga River mouth, and then Toti River mouth in the south.
Tonga River mouth, that's just north of here.
Westbrook.
No?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay. So what? Obviously, give away too many tactics, etc. But maybe just a few tips for the guys who are going to be fishing in the festival. Maybe you could just give them a few tips, not so that they catch the winning fish, but maybe catch at least the fish.
Oh, me and Justin often speak about this during the weekend. We often refer to it, you know, the winning fish has the angler's name on it already, to be honest. And
yeah,
I think a lot of guys get into the scenario where they try and chase these big fish, and especially this year, the big fish have been so sporadic, you know. So, I mean, if I was, my plan would be is to choose an area I want to fish, where I think there are some big fish, and I'd work that area throughout the comp.
Where's that?
Yeah, you've got down south, you've got north. So
I don't expect to give you away your marks, you know. But, yeah, no, that's a very good point, because I mean, I think when it comes down, like you say, if the fishing's been, especially when it's been slow like this, it's going to come down to one of the anglers hitting the luck, and it may be just a guy who's, you know, sometimes guys come in and they haven't really fished much, or they're a bit of a novice and they also hit the luck. So it can just be the luck of the draw. And I guess that's the attractive thing about a big fish comp, where it tends to be your really, really top anglers who sort of finish top of those. But if you've got a comp where its biggest fish wins, it kind of leaves it wide open, because anyone can get the lucky draw on that one. So it's a lucky scenario.
I always like to use the kayak as a benchmark, because I believe that those are actually getting a lot more fish than what the ski boats are. Just for obvious, they've honed it on pulling dead baits, and they're getting that early morning bite, and they're a lot quieter, and they're able to fish areas sometimes that don't really allow us as well. So my game plan is going to run straight to run straight up north with some dead bait. I pull dead baits the entire day, but unfortunately the pattern that we found now is obviously that pulls. So that takes that theory of dead bait fishing out. So we're getting all our pulls from Schlote on dead bait. You didn't need live bait. Now what we found in the insight, you weren't getting the pull. So it's a catch-22. a month ago, I would have said, don't. Now, I wouldn't run to Amschloot. I wouldn't go to Stud Rock. I wouldn't go to Windy Corner out live bait. So it's throwing everyone's plan out. 2 weeks ago, we all know that Kuta, Wahoo, Tuna love a little bonnie. Sharks are wild, but in theory, if the bonnies are there, the fish should be there. So again, do you make that call and decide, I'm going to go and try and tussle a shark and maybe get a fish? You go and sit in an area where there's been no bait, there's been no action, where you know fish has come previous. It's a big gamble, and as Ryan says, that boat, it's already got someone's name on it already.
I think also sometimes, as an example, when one of the UKFC comps a few years ago, we all launched at Blythedale to go fish PG, and we went there and the guys got a bite early in the morning. A few boats came in the bite, and then the bite dissipated. There was nothing going on. Boats, jet skis all ran, and obviously you're either deciding you're going to paddle all the way to Zinkwazi or you're going to stay where your car is, weighing up the logistics. So we sat there, and I remember saying to one of the guys, what time's the bite? And he's like, it was 2 hours ago. And we sat there for another hour, obviously because you're fishing a comp. Scott got his 30-kilo fish, and then within that space, I think about 5 or 6 fish of 25 kilos up came out. And it was pure. If we had motors on and we could have gone 5 k's away, we would have probably done that because it was dead. But we didn't, and you just sit and you boring as hell, and then you have 10 minutes of excitement. So I think that's also where kayakers have a benefit.
100%. I think as ski boaters, we do tend to run around the ocean a bit more than working in air wholeheartedly there. I actually prefer it when you arrive at Amschloot at 7 o'clock in the morning, boats don't get a bite until half past 8, and then they bugger off. That's the best part of it, because then you sit it out for 2 hours, and 9 times out of 10 you normally get a fish. But what I did find in the Interclub and Peak, if you can find Tina water, you pretty much guaranteed a pull. We went around south and we found an awesome patch of blue water, and I think we had about 6 Kuta pulls. Got smashed up by the sharks, and we had tackle failure on the one. One of the teams did. So that type of stuff happens, and unfortunately, we didn't caught it. In a comp like this, you have to take your chances, and if you get that pull,
yeah, it's always a tricky one when you're on a motorized craft, because you know, sometimes it pays to just be patient, but then obviously when you've got an engine, it means you can move to a spot where you think, well, if it's not working here, let me go somewhere else and see where it's working. And then sometimes, like you say, you tend to find yourself moving around too much, where you may have actually got the bite if you just sort of stuck it out. And I think that also comes down to like your game plan. If you've decided your game plan is to sit off the river mouth at Amschloot all day, then you kind of have to do it, even if the bite doesn't come. And then at the end of the day, if the bite doesn't come, you just got to say, well, you know, I stuck to my plan, and that was it. Or you might find you do stick to your plan, and then you hit the luck later on. So it's a bit of it can get frustrating out there, because you start getting bored, and then you want to move off, and maybe you don't need to. Like Jamie says, if they'd had motors on, they would have probably buggered off and not got that bite. And those bigger Kuta often come on the bite at like 11 o'clock, 10:30. Especially if there's a bit of tide movement. But up north, they do seem to like at this time of year coming on the bites a little bit later. 11 o'clock towards lunchtime. So you do have to be patient.
But obviously, I'm not sure if the rest of you guys have noticed, Jamie and Ryan, but water seems to be surging almost, and I use the word surging, it's probably incorrect, but like you morning and it's brown and it's chocolate, and you get home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that water is crystal clear. So that water in Durban that's moving around, and you're getting that clean water coming, you're getting that dirty water in the afternoon, and you get home and the water is filthy, and then around the corner you hear it's crystal clear. And then The water was better north on Saturday, and then Sunday came and it was 25 on the corner, and it was the closest purple I've seen all year. So
that actually happened at Schlanger Comp when we fished it a couple of weeks back. It was we were fishing Westbrook. We moved from Belito through to Westbrook. The water was really green and offish. By the time we went back in the afternoon, back towards Belito, it cleaned up really, really nicely. And there wasn't a particularly strong current. But like I said, it was the fluctuation was quick, and it was a bit unexpected. We didn't think it was going to clean up that quickly. So yeah, I think there's a bit of a front coming this weekend that might change things up again for the next week.
But I think also that this last weekend it was clean all the whole way along the Durban coastline, and then after that big surf, so obviously all the residue that's sitting on the bottom from the floods, etc., the groundswell and the big surf just chopped it all up and put it all out. There was no rain to make it dirty, but yeah,
that's
really interesting.
Like Justin said, I fished out on Saturday, and in 18 meters of water, you're having these plumes of sand coming off the bottom from the groundswell. And when Justin went there, when I heard it was clean on Sunday, I said, no ways it can clean up so quickly. And I went out to number one, and the water was crystal clear. When I spoke to Justin, he said it was some of the best water he had seen. And that's literally in a space of maybe 15, 16 hours, they cleaned up like that. So it was unreal.
It'll be interesting to see what happens up far north this weekend. I think there's the North Coast kayak fishing competition at Sinkwazi. So with quite a few guys on the water having to fish that one space, it'll be interesting to see how many of the bigger fish have begun to move in there. I know over the Easter weekend there was the odd decent one of 15 to sort of 20 kilo ones, but it'll be interesting that with 40, 50 guys, whatever it is, and how many they've got on, sitting on the water there for a good few hours. I think it looks fishable on Saturday morning, so they should get a good 4 hours or so. And it'll be interesting to see what happens out of that.
The interesting thing with Zinkwazi, it hasn't really turned on yet. It's quite it's been very quiet this year. Last year we went up to we were there for our clinic in February, and we got some decent fish early in the year. And then Tamron got that really big kuta probably about 2 weeks later into March. And then there were some really nice big fish. Okay, they did arrive a little bit early last year, but they do seem quite slow in those popular North Coast spots this year, like Zinkwazi, Prince's Grant. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. It can just change. It can turn on just overnight. So
Definitely.
That's the thing is, the guys have just got to keep at it, and at some point the big fish are going to arrive. Yeah. So are the entries closed for the Durban Ski Comp, or how's it like?
No, not at all. Not on the day of registration. I think they close at 5 p.m. So yeah, the guys.
So what do you say? Not at all. You mean they can still enter on day of registration?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And how's the entries looking? Good.
So yeah, we're sitting on about 400, and about 171 boats at this stage.
Oh, fantastic.
Down the prize, we're looking at about 1.2 million rands worth of prizes there.
Wow.
So there's some. I'll go as far as saying that we're going to go 1 to 15 on Twitter, and I think 15th prize sits just over 11,000 rand. Cool prizes. Our sponsor really got on board with us, so it's been awesome. Yeah,
it's really awesome. Okay, so and if the guys want to enter, how do they go about entering now? What's the easiest way? Just
so we can order online. Club, there's entry forms all over the place, at all the local tackle shops. They're more likely, and I'll put them in touch with the ladies at the club, and I'll definitely be able to sort you guys out.
What we'll do is we'll post the flyer onto the Facebook page after this, guys. So if you're watching and you want to just have a look on our Facebook page, we'll pop the flyer on there. And just reiterate to the audience because some guys might not know exactly what's on offer. What's the first prize there?
So we have a 520 Seacat with 2 engines. Club Marine's also thrown in a year's insurance and their boat as well. So that boat sits at around 625,000 rands worth of first prize.
That's an incredible prize. And like you guys say, is that's got one angler's name written on it already. So that it doesn't have your name on it if you haven't entered. So you got to enter to get in there.
Percent.
What days are you guys fishing?
So Saturday and the Sunday, and then we've got spare day on the Monday. So depends on what the weather does. Yeah. Again, I just want to make it clear. A lot of people get confused with it. It's 2 days. We try and fish the Saturday and the Sunday, and we only use the Monday if. So
I don't know if everyone lost you there. I lost you there.
Yeah,
so you only fish the Monday if it's a complete blowout in one of the days. Is that what you're saying?
So basically, what will happen is if we fish Saturday and we push to fish Sunday. If we can't fish Saturday, we'll fish Sunday and Monday. If we fish Saturday and Sunday's a blowout, we'll then fish Saturday and Monday. If we can't fish Saturday and Sunday, we'll obviously fish Monday. Previously,
the usual story. Guys must just listen. They must listen at registration.
100, yeah.
Unfortunately, so we've obviously changed the rules from previously. Previously, the Monday was Saturday and Sunday. We would only use Monday. So we've changed it up a bit to try and give everyone more chances and obviously a better chance of fishing as well.
Okay. So, yeah, sorry, Calvin. I see it says there the audio feed is bad. Yeah, some of the signal's a bit bad, but we'll try to fix it now. Jamie, so G Festival, we're also a few weeks away, and how's things looking there? I see you got a new sponsor there on board for the goodie bags for the Rash Fest. Just tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so one of the investment funds have come on board and said they'll Lorium Capital. They're going to sponsor some paddling tops for the goodie bags for the early bird entries. So that's awesome. I mean, the goodie bag now is sitting over the entry cost of the competition. So it's the 5th. Well, the registration's on the 5th, and then we'll hopefully fish the Saturday and Sunday, the 6th and the 7th. And it's controlled launch sites from Eastmore Crescent, then Umschloti by the chain pools, Westbrook Main Beach, Salmon Bay, Tinley South, Blythedale Beach, and Sinquazi. So yeah, it's with our comp, it's the heaviest fish of whatever species, and then the next heaviest fish the second place has to be a different species to the one above, all the way down until we run out of species, and then it goes back to heaviest fish all the way down and irrelevant of species. So it can be a great comp. I mean, a few years ago, Scott was saying someone got 5th place with just under 31 kilo kuta, because someone won with a 33 kilo kuta, and then it was tuna, snook, dorado, whatever it was. There often ends up being a fluke dorado at some stage in May, which is weird. So yeah, it works like that, and then we go all the way down to 20, and then plenty of lucky draw prizes. So yeah, it's a tactical game. I mean, usually in years gone by, guys would hedge their bets and go think, am I going to go sit at Salmon Bay and wait for the pot of animals to come past and get that big tuna, or do I just go and look for that big kuta, and where's that big kuta going to be? And as we know, they can be everywhere and anywhere. So they've been off.
Or nowhere.
Or nowhere. Well, last year, Bruce, got the winning fish at like, jeepers, it was like 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock on the Sunday morning, and our weigh-in closes at 12. And he arrived and jumped out of his car, and I was doing weigh-in. I was, why have you still got your life jacket and are you soaking wet? And he's like, I couldn't remember what time it was. His boat was still on the beach at Westbrook, and he had got the fish, wanted it to get to the scales, throw it straight in the back of his bucket, and said to his mates, you sort the rest of that out, I'll see you later. So yeah, that's and then the year before, was it the year before, or whatever, one of the guys entered on the Friday, and only reason he entered was because he was attending his future son-in-law's Bill's party at Sequazi Lagoon, there where you guys go, and he decided on the way down to buy a few crystal minnows and picked one up and paddled it and got a 30-kilo kuta. And the same guy actually last year phoned me at, I think it was about 11 o'clock, and he said, what time does weigh-in close? What time does weigh-in close? And I told him, and he was sitting on the Sandy's mark, so by the time he got to the beach, he wouldn't have even been able to weigh it. And I think the fish weighed again, it was over 30-kilo kuta, so he would have won it 2 years
You would have won last year as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, last year, yeah, it would have been 2 years in a row that he would have won it. Yeah. But he caught the fish at Sequazi at like 11 o'clock. I think his son-in-law phoned me and said, what time does it close? And I said, well, if you can get you by then you got it, but you still got 45 minutes to drive, and you've just boated the fish and a half an hour paddle or whatever it is to get to the beach of Sequazi.
So, just for the guys watching, Jamie's talking about the UKFC, which is a kayak-only comp, which is the
Umgeni
Kayak Fishing Club annual comp, and Justin and Ryan are talking about the Durban Ski Boat Festival. It's obviously a ski boat festival. It is open to jet skis as well. That's right? Is there a minimum number of jet skis, or is it whoever wants to enter?
No, it's
okay. Okay, guys. You sort of nearly time up here. We've also obviously got our comp coming up in a few weeks afterwards as well. We'll probably chat about that a little bit more in one of the other episodes coming up. That's the King of the Sea, and that's normally is at Pumula Beach Hotel. We've moved down to Mtunzi, which is a little further down the coast at Tweenie. So that's kayaks, jet skis, and ski boats. So I don't think I have you guys down there. So hopefully maybe you can get yourselves down and come join in. And that's always a fun event, and that's on the 20th and 21st of May. So keep a lookout on our Facebook pages. What I'll do is I'll post your guys' flyers on the Facebook page for both the comps as well. So anyone who's watching and they want to find out a little bit more, they can jump. So we're just going back to a comp that's just been. That was a huge success 2 weeks ago, and that was won by Matthew Shepherd, a 15-year-old, which was lekker. So he won. His was a 23 kg kuta, approximately about. Do you remember, Justin? It was about 23 kilos, wasn't it?
I think it was 24. I think it was 24.3.
24.3. Yeah. So very nice fish, and it's lekker to see the youngsters featuring riding up in the top prizes, making their way through the ranks. So it'll be lekker to see if there's a couple of youngsters. I'm sure there are lots of youngsters fishing in the Durban Festival as well. So it'll be nice to see them featuring there. But guys, really. Sorry.
I think the top two prizes both went to juniors. I know. I think Braden.
Yes, that's correct.
Braden
Kane came second. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's us old buddies are getting shoved aside now. The Latis are all making their way to the top. But guys, I won't keep you much longer, and really appreciate the time. And hopefully those big kutas start showing face, and the Johnnies really start buggering off now, which will be lekker. But Shot, thanks very much, and we'll.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you very much. Thanks,
Cheers.
guys.
Cool.
Cheers. Thanks,
Cheers,
mate.
Bye.